Good morning, everybody. This is Judith A. Cope. You're listening to Mad Love. Let's get into it. So, yeah, I took a break yesterday. I just didn't feel like podcasting. Um, for some reason, I woke up really frustrated with the Nick Reiner situation. And listen, I loved Rob Reiner's films. I didn't know him. Uh, then you find out yesterday they were about to have dinner with Barack and Michelle Obama. Like these were movers and shakers, right? Um, and they were very democratic and very much those heavy hitter donors. And you know, I would that would have been a disaster had they shown up at the house. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's not the part that bothers me. Everybody has to eat dinner. Um, I just the way they're covering Nick Reiner, he's so obviously mentally ill, and they just want to keep saying he's had problems with drugs this whole time. Yes, because he has a mental illness, and this country has absolutely no idea what to do with mentally ill people until they commit a crime. They can go in and out of these facilities, they can get help, they can not get help, they can take some medication, they can stop taking medication, they can do all these different things because there's nothing in place to help families try to help their loved ones. I know that there's not been any diagnosis revealed publicly, but you can look at him and his reactions and his dissociative stuff. That's not just drug numbness. He turned to drugs probably to fix whatever this other issue is. And it's nobody's fault. But I don't understand why there's just not more help. America has been so busy exploiting us that they don't help us. I mean, if their family can't figure out what to do and they've got all the resources in the world, what are regular families supposed to do? And then you got people in some communities where they don't even want to talk about it. They just pretend like the person is fine. Oh, that's just him. Really? It's not just him. You know, he's coming to the family parties. He's going out in the world. He may be panhandling in front of 7-Eleven. It's a lot. Do you want that? I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Would you want the crazy person? We've all walked by someone who was not quite right in front of 7-Eleven. Do you want to take that person home with you? That's what their family has to think about. And that's why so many people are out on the streets, because either they don't have a family or their family has just had enough and don't know what to do, and you can't control them. Because that would be a full-time job, especially if they don't take their medication. So I don't know. I just was feeling down about it for other families and for any family that's had to deal with somebody who is like that. Thankfully we didn't have a ton of violence, but bipolar disorder is real, and it can heavily, heavily, heavily affect the family dynamic like nothing else. So I just feel bad for the kids, and now I feel like the media coverage is turning softer. Some of the immediate things that we were told, they're walking them back, and I know it's because they don't want to taint the jury pool, even though I'm sure it's already done, and I'm sure he's gonna, you know, plead insanity. But these things take a long time because he's got to be able to pass the psych exam, and he may or may not be able to do that. Um, and for an average case, it takes, at least 6 months to get the exam. Now they may speed everything up because of the media on this case. Um, and they may just try to make it go away because he was a Hollywood kid, but I mean, he murdered two people. That is very serious. He will be in some sort of medical prison facility for the rest of his life, I hope. Because that's really what we're talking about, the difference between going to a medical prison or a medical floor in a prison versus a prison where he wouldn't be isolated from everybody and wouldn't be in like a medical type situation. But he probably will. And, you know, they can try to make it sound all nice now, but it is very difficult to be related to somebody like that. And I'm sure they didn't think he was capable of that kind of violence. Or maybe they did when they're honest with themselves. I don't know. I don't know this family, and I don't know anything special. I'm not friends with any of these people, but I do know what it's like to have a bipolar sibling, and it is stressful. And, you know, in my mind, just from my work and from my personal experiences, it seems obvious to me that it was mostly a mental issue. And the drugs he used to cover something. But the problem with that is drugs make it worse. Drugs don't improve your brain chemistry, they normally worsen it. So I just send my blessings and prayers to all families that struggle with these same dynamics. It's very challenging. And it's just not what you want to think about at the beginning. I think they're Jewish, the beginning of Hanukkah, and it's the Christmas season. Like, that is not what you want to deal with. But I think America just isn't into dealing with things. I was also thinking about the leadership vacuum that we have. You know, I think a lot of people are not interested in being leaders. They want the leader salary. They want to be the boss. They want to make all the decisions. But I don't think they want to learn how to lead, because you have to be a good communicator to be a good leader. You can't just surround yourself with people you like and you feel like you can control. That is that means you're not interested in being a good leader. You want to be a controller, which to me is a slave owner mentality. You just want everybody to do what you want them to do. You don't want to have any discussions about it. You just want to control people. Even the toughest boss knows how to walk up to somebody and have a conversation with them. I'm seeing across many industries people who have these bosses, they get online and complain. They're in TikTok complaining. Some of them are calling me and complaining. They just have these bosses who are not interested in conversation. They don't want to talk to you. They want to discipline you or the people they have problems with through these mass decisions that they make. And they just want to try to control everybody instead of building teams, and making people uh, be held accountable. They just don't want to talk to people. Now, I have no problem with you disciplining somebody, but don't discipline everybody because you got a problem with one person. That I've seen that movie before, and it's awful. It's a morale killer, and it doesn't make people feel appreciated. It's almost like, I'll give you an example. When I was working for St. Louis County, it was almost like the county executive just had enough of us. Like he resented that we had to work for him or something. Because he would do these little things, and I don't believe in microaggressions, but I guess this is what they are. Um, but it was like little shitty things. I prefer to call them that instead of microaggressions. So we had, you have to flash your badge to get into the parking garage. And you used to be able to just like wave your ID in front of it and the gates would open. Instead, they replaced it with something where you damn near had to get out of your car and press your ID up against this thing. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but you've got like 4,000 people coming into one parking garage. And it's like, yeah, this is a big deal. Now it's harder for me to get in here. Why is every decision that you make something that's harder for me to go to work? Then it got so bad at the security guard station. So they make you take off. I don't know, somebody had contraband I guess, somewhere. So now they decide, oh, we're gonna just shake you down. Like it was worse than the airport. You had to pull off your watch, um, take everything out of your pockets. I was like, dude, I'm going to work. I'm not trying to fly to Cabo. It's annoying at the airport, but it's really annoying here. And if you didn't get cool security guards who knew you, yeah, I worked there 7.5 years. I don't need to. I'm twirling around in a circle. People are winding me down. Go back through again. Yeah, it's like, what is this? And it was just so frustrating. And like every time you turn around, it was just like, let's make life harder for the average worker here. And it sounds like it shouldn't be a big deal. But when you're doing that every single day, it is a big deal. When you've made something that was easy, now something that's really hard, and all I'm trying to do is the same thing that I've always tried to do, which is just go to work, I don't need that. And it's like, you obviously don't give a shit about your employees because otherwise you would be like, hey, make sure everybody's safe, but like, don't harass people. Yeah, no. Hey, this is great, except, yeah, make it so it's more sensitive so people don't have to hit the curb and damn near tear down the machine to get their ID scanned to get in the parking garage. It's like, where's the common sense? And I guess it's because they don't really care. They don't care. Like, your boss is out here not caring if your job is difficult. A good boss cares, but nobody is talking about how great these bosses are these days. I only hear about the bad ones. And you watch TikTok, you watch Instagram, your friends, the stuff they call and complain about, it's just this lack of knowledge. People don't know how to do the job, they don't know how to lead, and it causes stress for every single person. And I hope that's a problem that gets resolved and goes away. But I don't see how it will. The only thing that'll help is when all these systems break down and people aren't going to be afraid anymore. And they're going to be like, hey, you down here in the mud with us. Fuck you. You were a terrible boss. How you got to be a boss, no one will ever know. You were terrible at it, you know. But I feel like that's what's gonna have to happen. Everybody's gonna have to get equal because there are so many folks that just do not know what they're doing. I mean, I would put Donald Trump in that category. He clearly doesn't know how to lead. That makes you wonder how, his business has stayed afloat. And we do know that he lied a lot, but he did make money. Somebody had to do the communication. He had to have normal people working for him at some point. So I don't know. You just have to hang in there. And I don't. It's so weird. I don't feel very Christmassy yet, but it's here. And so let's go and be great and get some stuff done. And gosh, the one this year went really, really, really fast. Really fast. Let's go be great. Have a great Thursday.